Alrighty, we are in Tenerife, Spain, small little island called the Canary Islands off the coast of Morocco. We've been here for around a week. We've been with Alessio Pareci, his cousin Sid, who's an absolute legend. He's exited some agencies in the past before, had some great chats with him. Alejandro, who's my top closer and also heads up our Spanish sales team. We also met up with Alfonso, who's our head closer in the Spanish team. And then we had both Sid and Alessio's partner, Renee and Mathilde. And then obviously my partner, Brie, as well. So we've had a really enjoyable time here in Tenerife, catching up with the Spanish team. And I guess this one specifically is like everything in my life is about to change dramatically. I'm heading home to Bondi in 2 weeks. We're opening an office in Bondi. So my first ever office. We're going to have the whole entire team in one place, which I am incredibly excited for. And I guess for me, this is like a really interesting stage of my business journey. For context, for anyone who doesn't know my journey, I started content creation 2 years ago. I started Alfie Gets Hard because I wanted to document my 75-day hard journey. And it was a really transformative time where I was very uncertain, unsure of who I was, what I wanted to achieve in this world. I just turned 24 and I was looking around and going, fuck, I'm not where I want to be at 24. I had a good job on LinkedIn. I looked like I was doing all the right things, but in reality, I was very lost. And I used alcohol and drugs as a way to sort of escape that reality. And it felt very normal. Never had a full problem with alcohol and drugs, but it was definitely an easy escape and distraction for pursuing the things that I really cared about in life. I had a great friendship circle, but a friendship circle that validated that alcohol and drugs were the right things to be doing on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And escaping from my reality was sort of the priority for a weekend. I was getting into this cycle of like, fuck, I'm just looking forward to Friday and I feel shit till Wednesday. And then Thursday rolls around and all of a sudden Friday, I'm back on the beers, back on the drugs. And it became a bit of a cycle. So I started 75 Day Hard, started documenting my journey as well. And that's really what changed everything. In 100 days, I went to 100K followers. Alfie Gets Hard continued to grow and compound. And I started with fitness coaching and had so much success with that. I taught my housemate Jake how to create his journey or how to share and document his journey through coaching, how to monetize his platform that he had built. And we went into partnership together and we had an amazing year of business together. Pretty crazy the way and how fast your life can change in just 1 year. For me now, a really big focus, at least the last 6 months, has been Amplify. And Amplify was about opening that window of documenting and showing people what's possible when you put yourself out there online, how to put yourself out there online, and how to monetize that as well. I think a common denominator between everyone in Amplify is this piece around life design and wanting to create their own version of reality. I'm a massive believer that in life, you have creators of your own reality and acceptors of your own reality. A lot of people just accept, this is the reality that is given to me at face value. This is the cards I've been dealt, and I will just have them played for me. Now, there's other people that look at the cards they're dealt and decide how to play them. They decide how to create their own reality. And for me, Amplify is about people that want to create their own reality. Everyone in there has a mission that is very clear, and they are not willing just to accept what is given to them. They want to create something for themselves. And a lot of them want to do that through documenting on social media, building a following that can be leveraged to build a business, to connect and network with like-minded people, to travel the world, to sell their goods and services, whatever it is, and whatever the reason for them wanting that. May even be a validation piece, a validation that they are who they say they are, that they have their expertise in their area of focus and they want to teach other people. Or it may just be to connect with like-minded people. And I was reflecting on why I've created Amplify. And for me, like my biggest dream, if I didn't have to run the business, I would love to fly to every single person who's in Amplify and have the opportunity to see life through their lens. I've been obsessed since Airbnb, Brian Chesky came out with this concept of living like a local. I'm a huge believer in Airbnb. We're in a beautiful Airbnb right now. The reason being is Brian Chesky had this amazing vision of what would it be like to live like a local in every city. Instead of going to a curated hotel that's, designed by someone who's thinking, oh, what would a tourist want? It's no, what would a local want? What streets would the local live on? What restaurants would they eat in? What cafes would they go to get the coffee? And something that's beautiful about Airbnb and what I've been doing for the last 4 months as we travel around the world is going and experiencing what it's like to live like a local in each city. And I've been very fortunate that through Amplify, I can go to places like Iceland. I can meet with Magnus for a gym session. I can turn up in Lisbon and go for a run. And alongside me, someone recognized me and said, hey, I know you from content. Like, I actually run a run club. We should join up and do a run club together. I can go to Barcelona and be stuck in one place for an hour just meeting people that have seen the content. And that's the amazing thing about social media that I think we've forgotten. I think social media is such a net negative for society when you only consume. And I feel it myself. I was chatting to my partner about this. When I sit down and scroll through social media, I feel the negativity come in. I feel the thief of joy in the constant comparison to what other people are doing in life, to how much further they are ahead, to what car they're driving, what house they're in, what amazing resort they're on, what island they're on, what holiday they're experiencing. And I feel like getting sucked out of me the enjoyment of my own life because I'm in this constant field of comparison on social media. Now, when I flip the other side and you use social media for what it's designed for, which is creation, you have a net positive experience. If you are creating on social media, I truly believe you use the platform for what it's designed for and you have a net positive experience. And that net positive experience is being able to put yourself out there and connect with like-minded people. I now have a network across Austin, LA, New York, across Singapore, across London, Barcelona, Madrid, Tenerife, like every place in the globe, I have someone that I can connect with, both through Amplify and through social media. If I put up a story and say I'm going somewhere, I guarantee there is someone who would be willing to take time out of their day to show me that city. And for me, that's the most gratifying thing of all. I just want to experience more life and pack up as much life experience as I possibly can. On my bucket list is 100% before I pass to see every single country in the world. It baffles me that people would come into existence on planet Earth and not want to explore every single corner. And that is such a big piece for me. Sometimes when I'm growing my business and building the things that I am and wanting to have the impact at the level that I want to have, they sometimes work at arm's lengths of each other. The ability to be able to create something at the scale I want to create it and to be able to live out my own dream of being able to travel and see every place within planet Earth sometimes work on opposite ends of the spectrum. So it's difficult sometimes, but when I go back, it's going from a place of traveling, moving around. We've traveled a lot in the last 4 or 5 months to focusing on really building and creating and leaving a long-lasting legacy. And I think the more successful you become and the more money you accumulate, you realize that money is not the answer to a lot of things. Money is not the answer to happiness or life satisfaction. It's a resource that should be leveraged to gain those things, but you need to actually determine what makes you happy. For me, traveling is a big piece of that, and also teaching. I've always said if money was nothing, I would be a school teacher. Because money is something I've found something more valuable to teach, which is the ability to build your own dream life, to create a profitable business online through social media, and to help other people change their lives, whether that's through fitness coaching, whether it's some level of business consulting or coaching as well. But to give a voice to people that really want to deliver as much impact as possible is one of the most fulfilling things I ever could stumble across. And it definitely is stumbling across. And I think that's what a lot of people forget about life. I used to look at these big, large companies or successful people, and I try to reverse engineer their success. But what you've got to realize is a lot of that success is not a linear path, and they didn't actually have a plan to get there. They just put one foot in front of the other. They got incredibly lucky because they put themselves in a circumstance to be lucky again and again and again. And eventually they found their passion, or they found where they could deliver the most impact. I think for a lot of people, just putting one foot in front of the other should be the priority. It shouldn't be about that end goal, because the end goal and the goalposts are going to change dramatically. If you'd told me I would be sitting where I am today and have achieved the things I have achieved, to the 24-year-old self that was just going to create the account, told himself accountable for 75 Day Hard, I never, You couldn't have told me the flow-on effect that would have happened by just doing each piece at a time. Same with creating content, each piece of content at a time. So we go back, we've got some very exciting things with the business. On the 3rd of October, we're going to be opening our first ever office. Managing people, staff, office, more mouths to feed than ever before has a lot of responsibilities, and it does take a toll. I have to sacrifice things in my life that previously would have been a massive priority. So my freedom, from the perspective of travel, has always been a really big piece for me. But I know that I'm coming into an area in a period of time where travel is going to be less frequent, where I'm going to have to be in one spot. And particularly when you start to have more and more responsibility, people that rely on your business for income, people that believe in the vision that you have and are as excited as you about executing it, you have to show up. It's not just showing up for me anymore. It's not just waking up early for me because I want to achieve something. And this is one of the things where the pendulum swings. For the first half of your career, you spend your life convincing other people of the ideas you have. And you spend your life convincing the world that your ideas are not crazy. And then the pendulum swings to where other people convince you of the ideas you already had. And it's a beautiful thing that happens where I'm not the only one that wakes up and their biggest focus is driving the business forward. The wake of a successful business means that there are a lot of people that fall into behind that and benefit from that wake of success. And that's what drives it forward. And being in a boat where everyone is rowing in the same direction is a strange feeling, because all of a sudden you've gone from a single scull where you're just powering it away and with brute force and determination you get this thing off the ground, to now you have to look and you've got to go, okay, there's a stroke, there's a rhythm. And I'm actually now maybe at the front, and I've got to tell people, and I actually don't have to use as much of my upper body and muscle to just brute force this here. It's actually more about coordinating a team. And the leverage that you get when you're coordinating a team means that with the same amount of hours and the same amount of effort, you propel the boat so much further forward. Because previously you're just using brute strength, and it's a very different skill. And this is why a lot of founders struggle to transition into CEOs, because the founder is often the person that is willing to do the brute strength, get it off the ground, grit their teeth and grind to get this thing into existence. The CEOs who can sit back and say, my time is best spent looking at the stroke speed, the stroke consistency, and coordinating the stroke timing for the entire team, not being there stroking as well. Now, there's periods of time where you're going to have to jump in the boat and paddle as well. But the reality is your time is best spent managing that team and ensuring that there's the highest level of coordination together. So it's a changing time. I think for me as well, I love Bondi, but the thing that Australia lacks is a lot of great entrepreneurial talent. And I know there's entrepreneurial talent out there, they're just few and far in between, and they're harder to locate. One of the biggest things I want to do in Bondi is create an environment where Bondi is such an amazing place, but the thing it lacks is people having a go. And I think we played a part in changing that. I see more and more people starting social media. I see more and more people in that entrepreneurial business space. Australia's got this funny culture around people who have a go. And it's very easy to sit back and just be in the status quo and point and go, oh, you're having a go and it's not working and that's embarrassing, that's cringe. And it's fucking sad. I think it stifles a lot of growth and innovation in Australia. And if there was anything I wanted to leave my mark on, particularly in Bondi, it would just be inspiring more people to have a go. More people to put their hat in the ring and be willing to stand for something that's different, have a go, put themselves out there, willing to be cringe. And it sounds very simple and basic. There's a lot of people that are scared about the judgment of others, and I think you're always going to be scared about the judgment of others. People are going to judge you no matter what, and you cannot please everyone. But if I could leave my mark in Bondi and create a hub and an incubation of people that are willing to have a go, are willing to put themselves out there, then that would be a pretty amazing legacy to leave. So coming back, it's going to be an exciting time. It's going to be a big summer. My biggest focus is having the team in one place. I think there's so much benefit in having everyone in one room, being able to whiteboard in person, being able to interact in person. Ultimately, as humans, we crave human connection. And as the world moves more and more digital, I see a world where we become a human connection company. And it's all about energy and managing energy of the people we serve as students and clients of Amplify, managing the energy of the team, and that conviction and alignment that we are all working towards the same thing. I have a vision where technology becomes such a large role of the functional delivery of the product. So inside Amplify now, we teach people to grow their social media, we teach people to monetize their social media, and then we help scale it from there. I see the technology that we're developing being so potent and powerful that it solves the functional need of how to grow our social media. The technology that we've created takes the creator out of the equation from an editing perspective. And why this is so powerful is a lot of the creation right now, we have great tools and they've improved dramatically, but we're still editing. I still edit in CapCut and it still takes me hours. And that's the thing that I don't understand is we are at a point in time now where AI and the tools available to us should remove the creator from the creation process. And what I mean by that is we need to get to a point where the creator is removed from the execution. In content creation and growing a social media following, there's two sides. The ideation, which is the creation part, and then the execution. And I believe the products that we are building will manage the entire execution. And then it comes down to ideas, and the creator should be solely responsible for the ideas that they share. We want to link the idea with the camera roll that they already have. So the only thing the creator should be focused on is how do I film the best shots possible, and how do I come up with the best ideas. From there, we are leveraging the existing knowledge of the creator and then putting that into an automated execution system where the person does not have to upskill on CapCut. They do not have to learn how to snip, cut, drag, swap, anything. It's a waste of their time. And I love the Mo Gadwa. He was the head of Google X. He had this philosophy. He's a great thinker in the AI space. There's a great book called Scary Smart. And in Scary Smart, it starts with a campfire. And at that campfire, we're sitting around the campfire. And he says at the end of the book, I'll let you determine if we're sitting around the campfire because AI has taken over and, runs the world and we've fled to the forest and we're sitting around a campfire to survive, or that AI has taken over. All of the functional productivity jobs are done and we are left to sit by the campfire and discuss thoughts and ideas and share stories. And for me, I see that with content creation. I see the tools that we are building will remove all of the functional execution side of manual labor that goes into content creation. And what we'll be left with is a think tank of ideas and sharing stories and a sharing of knowledge that is being enabled by AI. And the beauty that I have of this is then it comes down to what is left. And for me, community becomes the most important thing. The content creator's role should be community building within their platform. It should not be spent hours in CapCut. It should be spent hours replying to comments, understanding different points of difference, sharing their perspective, understanding other people's perspective. Too many people in content creation are caught up with the idea of 10,000 views, 100,000 views, and they get in this cycle of hundreds of thousands. If you put hundreds of thousands of people, if not 10,000, even 1,000 people in a room, you would not have time to speak to every single one of them. You would not have time to have a meaningful connection with every single one of them. We need to remove ourselves from this bias of leaning up into tens of thousands of views and come back to what's really important, which is 1, 2, maybe a handful of meaningful connections. If you could make 10 meaningful connections from posting on social media, that is an amazing, amazing achievement. Those are 10 people that would never have been in your life if you didn't pick up the camera or the iPhone and start shooting. I think once you change the goalposts and benchmarks of success, you're going to have a much better time on the platform, but also just the way we interact as humans is going to dramatically improve. I think I've been upset by the way that social media has turned us into these functional churning out video after video and just chasing views and these metrics rather than focusing on what's most important, which is human connection. So my role and my job of the technology I want to create is to remove us from the execution, because the execution is what dulls the entire process and turns this into a factory of content. I want to remove the execution, allow the creator to focus on ideas and building their community. And then inside Amplify, once we remove the execution and give them the tools to do this, our job is like a think tank of ideas for the best stories to share, for the impact that they want to leave with their community. And for us as well, inside Amplify, we'll have the functional role of the technology, which covers the content creation and monetization, leaving them more time to engage in our community as well. And I want to have a mixture of in-person and online events that help bridge the gap of human connection. The more we move into the digital era, the more important than ever before is human connection. Like, human connection is going to be the only thing that can separate us. Human connection is going to be such a priority for the next, forever. And it always has been, but we've lost sight of it because we can connect digitally and we think that that is a supplement of human connection in person. It is a complement. The digital world must be a complement. It is how we take people from the digital world in person and then put them back on the digital, leaving them better, more equipped, more connected than before. And it comes back to the idea of, if you purely consume on social media, it is net negative. If you create on social media, it is a net positive platform. And I would encourage so many people to review the way that they consume social media and see how it is negatively impacting their lives. Flip the script and see what you can create. See what value you can give. As humans, I think inherently we just want to deliver value in our society. We want to be valued and we want to deliver value. Social media gives you the opportunity to do that when it is used correctly. And that's why it's such a passion project for me, because social media has opened so many doors in my life, but it's also enabled me to deliver an immense amount of value to as many people as it has. So I think come back to that and just focus on delivering as much value and creating content rather than just consuming.